Greetings and good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Classic Album War. Today we're going to look at two really strong classic albums from the early mid-70s by two British bands who kind of fall in line with the whole art rock, pop, prog, that sort of thing. Okay, they kind of, these bands kind of did a little bit of both. They employed elements of classical, little bits of jazz and blues, but a lot of pop and bits of like prog rock as well. So Supertramp, Crime of the Century, ELO, Face the Music. Okay, let's start off with the first one, released in 1974. This was to be the first kind of album that really kind of broke through for Supertramp. I believe this is a gold-selling album, at least here in the U.S., probably closer to platinum, million copies sold worldwide. Widely considered by many people to be the ultimate Supertramp album. Probably not going to get a lot of arguments from me on that, right? So let's take a look at this one first. So, for my money, top to bottom, pretty hard to beat, okay? Just great songs, great songwriting, killer instrumentation. Excuse me. All this talking early in the morning, you know. Let's start it off. The Wonderful School kicks things off on a real high note. I think I'm trying to remember correctly, going back to my top 10 Supertramp songs of all time show. Pretty sure School made it into my top 10. If it didn't, it sat just outside it. A wonderful tune. Again, love the kind of playful nature of a lot of the Supertramp material, especially their classic albums, right? And you gotta love the piano and keyboards and the saxophone and the guitars, and you got both lead singers. Really well done stuff. Great melodies. It's a great tune. Then you got Bloody Well Right, which was one of the two big hits from the album. Total prog rock there, but again, got lots of pop elements, right? It's probably I would never call Supertramp heavy, but probably the heaviest track on the album, but a great FM staple all these years. You still hear it on classic rock radio. Hide in Your Shell, great tune. Okay, probably one of the unsung classics on this album for me. Love the sax melodies on here, just fantastic. It's followed up by Asylum. Again, you got a couple tunes in a row nearing 7 minutes long. Asylum is wonderful, just wonderful. And then Dreamer, the other big hit. This is like the quick little 3 minutes, 30-second pop tune on here. Most people know Dreamer, right? If the casual fans, they know all those kind of hit singles. Dreamer, I'm sure. One of them sung by Roger Hodgson and his, high-pitched vocals. Probably, for me, though, the weakest track on here, even though it's quite a cool song as well. Then you got the amazing Rudy. That's a top 10 Supertramp song, if there ever was one, right? Brilliant. If Everyone Was Listening, another really cool tune. Again, kind of moody, atmospheric, good melodies though. And then the album ends with the wonderful killer title track, Crime of the Century, which, God, if memory serves me correctly, I think that was my favorite. That finished number one. That's definitely a top 2 or 3 Supertramp song. Just trying to remember if that actually finished at number 1 for me. In my top 10 song show. I think it was. Dun 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 dun. I mean, the ending, the coda of that song is just slays me every time. I just love the piano melody, and it's just got this kind of like ominous, dramatic swell at the end of the song. It's just so good. So good, so what? It's Supertramp, Crime of the Century. A great album, a classic album, damn near perfection, right? So, interestingly enough, if you would have asked me if I had done this show like 25, 30 years ago, okay, I think any ELO would have won for me going against Supertramp. But because I've been a lover of Electric Light Orchestra since I was a little kid, all right, and I love this album. But I've grown to like really appreciate Supertramp in like over the last like 15, 20 years, like big time. I always liked them, but I've really gotten into their music a lot. And, there's a lot of riches on that Supertramp album. We'll get to that at the end. So, Face the Music, released in 1975. Also, for the reason I picked these two to go against each other, because these were their first kind of breakthrough albums. Okay, so even though El Dorado, the album that came before this, did very well, or pretty well, I should say, not the commercial breakthrough. Critics loved it, and fans, to this day love that album. But this was the album that first got ELO really played on the radio. Can't Get It Out of My Head was a hit single of El Dorado, but this is the album that had a bunch of hit singles. This one, it was a platinum selling album. So, kind of the big breakthrough. So you've got Fire on High, the amazing instrumental, which was what featured on, was it ABC's Wide World of Sports, I think. I remember I'm pretty sure that was the sports show it was featured on back in the 70s. I remember watching that every Saturday morning. A fantastic instrumental, a haunting instrumental. I love that song. Okay, Waterfall, kind of a breezy pop song. The influence of the Beatles all over there. Then you got Evil Woman, huge hit for the band. Great song, memorable song. One of the best hits the band ever did. Then you got Knight Rider. Kind of like a cool rocker. It's got like a little Western theme to it, right? A little bit, or Western feel, I should say. Then Poker, which is the hard rock tune on the album. One of my favorite songs on this album. Great kind of guitar riffs from Jeff Lynne and Richard Tandy's blazing synth work. Great song. Strange Magic, another hit from the album. Okay, another breezy pop tune with, killer hook, great vocals. Jeff Lynne, a master songwriter. Killer singer, okay? The guy really knew his shit. Then what do we got? Down Hometown, kind of like a bluesy country kind of tune. Not one of my favorite tunes on here. And then One Summer Dream, okay? Decent song, not a great song. Okay, so as you can probably tell, although I love both of these albums, like I said, if you would have asked me back in like the 70s or 80s, or even early 90s, I probably would have said this album. But man, there's no comparison here, in my opinion. This is a unanimous decision. Might even be like a late 8th round knockout, but Supertramp's going to win regardless here. Although, this has, it's got Fire on High, Evil Woman, Poker, Strange Magic, Waterfall, and Knight Rider, all great tunes. Couple tunes that, not among my favorites. However, this, top to bottom, pretty devastating of an album. It's just the songwriting craft is incredible here. The instrumentation is, impeccable. I love the fact that they mix kind of little jazzy and bluesy bits with prog rock and symphonic rock and great pop melodies. It's an incredible album, and both of these albums just sound amazing too. But for my money, Supertramp Crime of the Century is the victor today. Late round knockout, unanimous decision, doesn't matter, they're going to win. But you know what? A really strong album from ELO too. Arguably ELO's got stronger albums. If this was out of the blue, it's a little tough, The El Dorado album is pretty damn strong. All right, New World Record, a lot of great albums. And, Supertramp has a lot of really strong ones that came after this. I think both of these bands, most of their output in the 70s is absolutely stellar. Okay, and arguably, a couple early 80s albums as well. So, but, for today's exercise, there's no right or wrong answer here. Some may prefer this over this or what have you. I love them both, but if I had to pick one to take to like a desert island or something like that, this one's coming with me. I would be sad that I couldn't have Fire on High and a couple other tunes on here, but man, top to bottom, this one is just fantastic. So that's it for our classic album war today. Supertramp wins it. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube each and every day. So be on the lookout. Coming up later today, another Top 10 Songs episode. All right, I'm not going to divulge who it is. You'll have to wait and see. This weekend, we've got another questions and answers show. Not sure if we're going to be able to squeeze anything else in this weekend. Maybe do another top 10 song, a third one this week. Maybe squeeze that in this weekend, but I'm not so sure. Early next week, Jeff Young's going to appear on this show, Classic Album Wars. We've got a great one in store for you. We're going to be taping that this weekend, so that'll probably be live, hopefully on Monday. All right. Also, I will be appearing on Jeff Young's Music Without Boundaries Monday night as we dedicate the most of the show to the Pink Floyd album Animals. All right, we're going to play the album in its entirety. We're going to talk a bit about it, plus some other stuff. So that should be a lot of fun. So don't miss that, jeffyoungjams.com. Okay, so otherwise, guys, have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you here on the tube, and catch you next time. Bye-bye.